Hey Empoweristas, it's Alex Wehrley joining you for the first time from Focus Studios. I am so excited. And joining me today for this first time is Christina Dunbar. She is a storyteller and performing artist. She has a one-woman show coming up called Dirty Me Divine. Tell me a little bit about Dirty Me Divine.
Yay, thank you for having me.
Yes, of course.
Yeah, so a one-woman show, we were saying earlier, it's one person doing the whole show. So it's me telling parts of my life story. And the parts that I really go through are shedding the good girl image, because I grew up very much a people pleaser. I kind of came into this life shy and sensitive and really attuned to other people, but always wanting to be perfect before I put myself out there. So
I think something a lot of women can relate to, because I think society has an expectation often of women to be nice, smile, behave yourself, you know, and so I think a lot of times women put these expectations on ourselves to be perfect and to be nice and to not rock the boat too much, right?
Yeah, definitely don't rock the boat. Don't ruffle any feathers. Don't really be free. Don't be free in your skin is the message that I received.
And almost to hide a little bit.
Oh my gosh, I was such a hider. Like for most of my life. So it's interesting to have a dream, to want to be a storyteller or to perform or to reach others, but then also have this thing of like, I'm not good enough. Because that's another good girl thing, is like you're never feeling quite good enough and you're always getting ready to be ready. So you're never ready. It's like, take another class, you know, get better at this before you put yourself out there. And so the first part of the show is really establishing that good girl image.
And to be a performer or a CEO or whatever it is that you want to be that's powerful, you have to be big. You have to take up space. You have to own who you are, own your accomplishments, your talents. So when you have this good girl syndrome and not trying to rock the boat, that's really difficult to do.
Yeah, it's almost like you don't have time for that voice to pop up that says, oh, don't do that thing. You know, because you have the instinct to speak up, to share, to whatever, to do the thing that you're meant to do. And then that good girl voice pops up. Oh, maybe they won't like it. Oh, you're not doing it right. And you almost have to, I've learned, for me, I've had to like beat that voice, meaning like I have to get into action before that voice has a chance to really put me down.
And you have beat that voice. She uses her voice beautifully. She's such a good storyteller. As I told you, I can't tell you enough how much I love her show. And by the way, quick tangent, to do your own one-woman show, you have to be extremely talented because you are holding the show. And she is such a good actress, so funny, such a good writer, a great dancer. So she's got that covered. But then it's really in the message that I think brings the wow factor to this show. But anyways, let's talk more about it, because you did find your voice ultimately and are using your voice, but it was a long journey to get there.
Yes.
And that's what you portray in this one-woman show. So tell me about your personal story.
Well, I grew up wanting to be a ballerina and was very serious about it and very disciplined. And basically overnight at around 15, 16 years old, I grew boobs.
And big boobs.
Big boobs.
The boobs I dreamt of when I was a kid that never arrived.
The big boobs that say hello before you even walk into a room. Those kind of boobs happened at 16 years old. And that was when my dream of ballet crumbled, because you can't have boobs and be a ballerina. And it was also when I started to get really confused about my body, because I started to get attention from men, because I didn't have a dream that I was going after to get attention from males. It felt like it was kind of like feeding my ego and feeding some part of me that was missing. And I really felt lost at that time. And I ended up moving to Hollywood to pursue, I don't know what, but some kind of dream. And I ran out of money.
And you wanted to act at the time,
I wanted to act, but I was, again, doing that thing of like always getting ready to be ready, taking more classes.
Trying to be validated by other people.
Yeah.
I know that you have a scene in your one-woman show where you were told that you should have this brand. And obviously, a pretty blonde girl must have the brand of being
Barbie.
Which
Yeah.
I love that scene so much. I can relate to.
Yeah.
But that was very limiting, wasn't it?
Yeah, because I was always like, hey, hi, do you want to hire me? Like, hello, I'm so perfect for you. Do you like me? Do you like my boobs? You know, so there was that
There's
whole.
a little bit more to you than that. A lot more to you than that.
There was a whole period of time where I was really playing that role and also waiting to be picked. That's another thing that I've learned in using my story as a platform is to not wait for someone to hire me for anything that I want to do. So
hence you created your own thing.
Yes.
And are doing amazing.
Yes.
So from Hollywood, you started to run out of money.
Yep.
And then you went where?
Well, I started burlesque dancing first.
Okay.
And I got really into that because I got to use my body and feel like the va-va-voom was actually something fun to play with versus something to just be objectified by others. And started to really get into like, I have curves and I can use them and let's shed this good girl. And there's something inside of me that likes to ooze sensuality and let's play with this. So that was
opposite of ballet. You went from ballet to burlesque.
Ballet to burlesque, yes. And then I did run out of money. And someone who was in burlesque told me, hey, you can make more if you strip. So I got into the world of stripping, and the show takes us through that journey of like what was it like to be a stripper when I also was not fully connected to my voice and my power at that time.
Which this part of the show is so fascinating because I don't know that world.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know the world of stripping and what a woman feels. Is it empowering? Is it disempowering? You know, all of that. And you kind of explore all the sides to that. Obviously, no longer a stripper. She decided it wasn't for her. But tell me a little bit about when you were. What did you learn about yourself and the world?
Well, it was, like you said, it was all of it. It wasn't just empowering or just disempowering. It was very empowering in the sense of I really like to feel confident in my body, and I was starting to more fall in love with my body versus feeling like it was separate from me, like I said, something to be objectified. So there was something really sexy about it that I enjoyed. But at that time, I also did not have clear boundaries and know when to say no, and like the men that I was attracting didn't always feel good. Like the wild animal can come out in the strip club. So if you don't know how to say no, or even in like a flirty way, draw your boundary with a man there, it can feel yucky.
The lines can get blurred.
The lines can get blurred. And I think for me, I also wasn't following my dreams at that time in a big way. So I felt like I was just stuck and just in this one world, and I wanted so much more.
What point did you decide, you know what, stripping, not for me. I'm going back to LA. I'm going to actually pursue what I really want to do? I
will say that for years, I had been feeling stuck, and the feeling of like getting out had been building and building, but I didn't know what to do. Like I just didn't feel like I could do anything else. And you know when energy builds and builds and builds, and it's like the universe will smack you if you don't listen to that first whisper. I got a smack.
Yeah, she got smacked.
I got a smack.
And she breaks that down in the show.
That was when the divine part came in, and I was like, I have to believe in myself, and I have to believe that there's something else also watching out for me and really has my back and is helping me be more of who I'm here to be.
Yeah, and now you're owning that. So tell me everything that you're up to now.
Well, the show is, we're having our first 3-week run here in LA, which is awesome. I did a couple shows here in LA. We went to San Francisco with it, and now we're doing our longer run here. I'd love to tour more. I also, besides just getting my voice out, it's really important for me to hear other women get their voices out into the world, because so many women have a personal story and are afraid to share it. And there's some part of them that's like being held back by not sharing their voice. So I also produce and direct short stories for the stage of women that want to set themselves free, and many times they tell a story that they've never told to anyone in public. And for me, it's been so healing to shed the shame that comes with having a secret life. So that's what I also do for other women, is help them do the same thing.
Let's talk about that theme of perfectionism for a second, something I can so relate to, and I think could be one of the barriers that prevents women from sharing their stories.
Yeah, perfectionism. Yeah, it stops so many women. That is the central theme that comes up. And I am very passionate about not being one thing as a woman. And we've been taught to be one way and to really, like, the good girl is one archetype, one way of being. But when you get kind of deconstruct what's it like to not be perfect and get messy and get wild and get free and not have all the answers, you start to connect all the shitty shoulds, I call them. Yeah. When you can get past that, you start to connect to your instinct, which is what I feel makes us really powerful, because that's like our intuition that we all have as women. But again, that voice gets in the way. So when we can get past that and learn how to reconnect to instinct and impulse, creative impulse, that's powerful. Life is tough, and we make decisions with what we have at the time. And there was a moment actually in the show where I really go into this deep forgiveness, where I write myself a forgiveness letter because I've been holding on to so much crap, judging myself. And oh God, if we could just get rid of the self-judgment and the self-criticism way. And it really is an internal decision. Like for me, being sexual and sensual at this point in my life is not about receiving approval from a man. I'm not doing it for that. And I think when it comes from that place of just wanting to feel good for yourself, like wanting to feel more ecstasy, more joy, more pleasure, like really being in your feminine, then it's healthy and it's beautiful.
So you got just a little sample of her amazing show, but you just have to see it. Just trust me, okay? You have to see it. It is so incredible. What are the dates and how can people buy tickets?
Yes, so it's 3 weekends in a row. It starts March 24th, which is a Friday. It goes Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And then same thing, 3 weekends in a row. So up till April 9th, I think, is the last show. And to get tickets, you can go to ChristinaDunbar.com/DirtyMeDivine.
Thank you so much. You are amazing.
So are you.
Her
Thank
out.
you.
Thanks for being a part of our first live show here at Focus Studios. I don't know how it ends, so we're just going to keep on talking and have an amazing day. It was so fun. Thank you.
Thank you.